Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Today I have a really fun car that I'd like to show you. Come on over and take a look at it. This car, of course, is a 1955 Austin-Healey 104. It's a car that is very interesting with its history. We did get a British Heritage Certificate on the car. We know that it was built October 20th, 1955. It came straight to the US, so it's always been a US spec car. We purchased the car from a local family in Lancaster. It had been in relatively long-term ownership. The previous owner of the car did drive it quite a bit, and we know that he went to some different Austin-Healey events, so the car was relatively well known locally. But what's interesting about the car, which I'd like to show you, we call this our scruffy little Healey. This is not, I'd like to say, if you're looking for a concours Healey, this is not your car. This is a car that has been driven quite a bit. It's been used. It is very, has a lot of patina, and I would say a very original car overall. So let's start with the motor. What the owner did is he changed it to M specs. So while it is not a factory 100M, the motor was rebuilt relatively recently. He did it himself, or had it done locally by machine shops. He put M-style carburetors on it with the 4 bolts instead of the 2. He put an M-style replica air box on it with the 100 badge on it. He put a higher performance camshaft in it, and he put high compression pistons. He also switched to a higher capacity metal fan. It is a numbers matching engine. It still retains what I believe is the original plate on the top of the block. To me, it looks original. I know that may be a point of discussion, but I believe it's the original block and engine to the car. And according to the Heritage Certificate, all the numbers match on the car. He also then changed the transmission to the newer center shift transmission. The car did have where the shifter was mounted on the side farther over. We do have the older transmission, and that is being sold with the car. You'll see in the photo gallery, I have pictures of the original cam. We have in the showroom, I'll show you the original carburetors and the original exhaust header and the original transmission. They all come with the car. But the changes specifically, upgraded cam, higher compression, M-style carburetors, and the newer transmission. It still is non-synchro mesh, but you'll see in our test drive, this transmission is in wonderful condition. All the synchro mesh is working beautifully. You can downshift quickly and easily into third and second without double clutching. So it works beautifully. So what we have, the car is an older restoration that has held up very nicely. It does have a couple minor imperfections that I'll show you. There's a little chip over here on the right wing of the car that's been touched up. And we'll take photographs of this. Little chip here that's been touched up. There's a little chip here on the bonnet. So it looks great. This is probably an 8-footer car. The paint has held up well, but there are minor imperfections. When we serviced the car, we put a set of brand new Werderstein Sprint Classics on it. We also went over the brake system, bled the brakes and adjusted them. We did a compression test. It has excellent compression, which we expected with the higher compression pistons in it. He also added, which is kind of cool, he did side exhaust. So he brought the exhaust out the side, right here. And you'll see in our driving video, this car, we sold, I think, 4 factory 100Ms last year. So I'm very familiar with factory 100Ms. This car drives like a factory 100M as far as the performance the engine is delivering and how the car handles and feels. It's much more powerful than a stock 104. He also did, which I think is fun, he did get a hold of and put the little M logo on the grille. Although clearly it's not an M, it had a later, much later in life updates. But if you're looking for a Healey that you can just go and have fun with, which is what these cars originally were built for, take a close look at this car. We have a little bit of bubbling in the paint on the top here. So again, I want to make sure that I represent the car as honestly as possible. Great driving car, great drivetrain. Coming over here to the interior of the car, the seats were redone. They're in black leather and they're in excellent condition, very nice condition overall. New carpeting in the car. The door cards are holding up very nicely. They're in great shape. He did not bother to do carpeting over the transmission tunnel because that's a replacement tunnel to accommodate the newer style transmission. We do have the original tunnel that could go back in the car. He kept the dash with the gray and the black, which is cool looking. The turn signals work, the horn works on the car, so all the wiring in the steering column is working correctly. You'll also notice in our test drive, the overdrive is working very nicely on the car. It goes in and out very smoothly. The tonneau is in excellent condition. The top is not. The top has a tear in it and is shrunk quite a bit. So the car could use a new soft top, a new convertible top. I was surprised. The door seams, the shut seams are excellent on the car. They're excellent along the sides here. It shuts very nicely on both sides. And the overall fit of the body is really quite good. There is, on the back of the car, there's a little crack in the boot right here, which is where the stay is that holds it when people close it improperly. So we have a little crack right there. And all of these things, I think, just add to the patina of the car. I think the car is really cool just the way it is. And the final thing is there's a little ding in the bumper here because it got pushed right there. So the most, I mean, you could replace the rear bumper. The chrome and everything on the car is quite nice. It has a neat patina going. Most of the stainless seams here are quite nice and are fitting nicely. And here you can see the right side shut seam also is quite nice. The trunk, the boot, just like the rest of the car. It could be upgraded if you wanted to, get the rubber mat. But when you're looking at the seams on it, it's all very nice. I mean, it's all, I think, very original. It's a car that I think it had a light restoration a number of years ago, but not a full. We did also get a 5th Werderstein as a spare. So that comes with the car. Up here, he was at the Encounter in 2008, also at one of the Moss Motors events. And the car is actually hand-signed twice by Jerry. Jerry Coker signed it here in the boot lid, and I'll show you he's on the dash also, which I think is very cool. And I know I keep going on about the driving experience, but please take the time, watch the driving video, watch where the tack is where I'm driving this car. It really revs easily. The engine, it breathes better than a stock 104. The addition of the carburetors, the cam, the pistons, and a header, and a flow-through exhaust, really, this car really runs well. And he also did, the suspension is in very nice condition. He has some neoprene bushings on the sway bar. All of the joints and everything are nice. There's no wear anywhere. The brakes are good. So it's really, this is a driver's car. This is somebody who wants to feel the experience of what a 104 really was like, bordering into the M experience. There was, overall, the body is rust-free. The frame is very straight. We'll take chassis pictures. When you look at the frame rails, they're very nice and straight. They're not all messed up. Front radiator support is very nice in the frame area. There is, and we'll take photographs of this, right here underneath, it could use a little bit of remediation work. There's a little bit of rust under here, and we'll take pictures of it. It's not serious, it's not extensive, and that's the only place we really found anything. On this side of the car, same thing, passenger door, nice condition overall. All the trim is really nice. Here's the other signature. So I hope the new owner leaves that on. Obviously, he's gone now, so you can't replicate that. But everything about it, just the car just exudes a little bit of patina. The way it looks with the mini light wheels, it's a little more aggressive with the side exhaust. It's an absolute hoot to drive. We get these cars occasionally that are like this, that are tuned a little bit, or we know the car's been driven because it's been cared for with that in mind. And this is one of those cars. I hope the new owner just drives the wheels off of it and really enjoys it. So if you have any questions, please ask us. We'll be happy to provide more photography. So we have a numbers matching car, original motor, the M model performance upgrades, although this is not an M. New tires on the car, mini light wheels. It needs a convertible top. A couple minor bruises on it that personally I'd leave alone. I think it adds to the patina. But if you've been looking for one of these cars, this may be one to consider. So thanks for taking the time watching the video. Please watch the driving video. It was really a hoot to drive this car. Thanks again for taking the time and watching our video.